Hi, my name is Tiffany, and I am going to tell you about my experience in Thinkful's Data Analytics Immersion Bootcamp. Thinkful is an online bootcamp that offers online, fast paced, career ready programs. Here's a list of all of the courses that they offer. Obviously, in the midst of the pandemic, they weren't doing a whole lot of in-person meetups, but they still did a lot of virtual meetups, which is awesome. This is where some of the graduates from the program go off to work to all of their wonderful statistics. I really like their graphics on this website. Just, random. Like, their graphics are pretty cool. And that's it. That all looked well and good. I am going to give you the real about my experience anyway. This is just my experience in going through Thinkful's program. I chose the Immersion course because I had just quit my job. I was a flight attendant before making the transition for like 3 years. I had been looking for something different anyway. When I came across the Thinkful program, it just seemed like a great opportunity. And I chose the payment program with the stipend, which was really helpful. Honestly, when you come to Thinkful's homepage and you scroll right here, actually, where is it? Right here, view course. Yay! You have to enter in an email, I guess, because I've already done it. Like, it just does that automatically. I don't know. This was the most relevant factor behind my decision to enroll in Thinkful's data analytics program. I'm just going to be honest. I have been a customer service employee for the past 7 years. So before I made the transition into tech, I was a flight attendant for 3 years. Before that, I was a customer service representative at a call center for 2 years. And before that, I was a waitress. I've never made anywhere near close to this amount of money. So this was a huge factor. Why wouldn't it be? Why wouldn't it be? A 4-month program where I can learn all of these skills and I can come out making this kind of money? Wow. Like, that's really motivating, right? I do want to point out, I'm not sure if this is new for this. I definitely did not learn machine learning in the data analytics course that I took with Thinkful. Maybe this is new. Maybe it's something that they've added to the curriculum. I'm not sure. Maybe I'll go back and check my dashboard to see if that information is up there. There are Thinkful grads who go on to work for Google or IBM or Amazon or Twitter. I do want to point out that it's really optimistic, honestly. I am about 3 weeks out of the program, and the idea of working for any of these companies is really daunting. Like, I've applied for IBM, I've applied for Google, and it's daunting because I don't have a degree. I'm a Black woman in America without a college degree. And a lot of my instructors and pretty much everyone in the Thinkful program, will actively tell you that having a degree in the tech industry is not a requirement. However, I would like to point out that a lot of these companies require you to put something in that field. You just won't let you move on until you put something in that education field. And it's daunting because then you get, that rejection letter and it's just like, with that being said, these aren't the only ones. These aren't the only ones. These are just the big names that Thinkful wanted to put up there. There's nothing wrong with aspiring to work at any of these companies, but don't let your search stop there. Like, don't get hung up if you apply to these companies right out of the gate and you get rejection letter after rejection letter, because not every Thinkful graduate is the same. I had a peer who had a master's degree and went through the program looking to develop skills as a financial analyst. So I imagine that any one of these companies would definitely be looking for a candidate with a master's degree in finance. The skills that Thinkful teaches, they're marketable. You can definitely market those skills to any job. Just keep in mind that there are a lot of candidates on the market right now. It's saturated, and some of them are just going to be more experienced than you. Let's talk about their payment plans. I picked the income share agreement with the stipend just because I was unemployed. I was unemployed while I went through this program. I was able to maintain with what they gave, and that was just my luck. For me, not having a job and really wanting to put the effort into learning these skills, that stipend was really essential. Honestly, I don't think I would have done it if the stipend wasn't an option. These are all of the things that Thinkful teaches you. Like, before I joined a Thinkful program, I had never opened an Excel workbook. So if you don't know Excel, like I didn't know Excel, like I had no experience in this industry. I had no experience with any kind of programming language. I had never even worked in Excel. Like I think the most that I've ever done with Excel is to open it and then close it right back. I never had any reason to work in Excel. I just didn't. So if you don't know Excel, like I didn't know Excel, Thinkful will teach you Excel. Our Excel instructor was amazing. He was. Tableau is just a way to create visualization. So learning how to conduct an analysis in Excel, it's a lot of numbers. It's a lot of number crunching and model building, and it gets really technical. And your CEO is not going to want to go through your report and dig through all of the calculations that you built out to figure out the information that he needs to know in like under 5 minutes. Tableau will give you numbers at a glance. So whatever that means, whatever key metrics that your company is looking to track, a Tableau dashboard is a great visualization tool to keep track of those methods. And I had never even heard of Tableau before I joined Thinkful program. So if you had never heard of Tableau like I had never heard of Tableau, and if you don't know Tableau like I didn't know Tableau, you should absolutely join Thinkful program, because Thinkful will teach you Tableau. Thinkful will teach you SQL. I had never heard of SQL. I didn't know what SQL was. So if you don't know what SQL is, like I didn't know what SQL was, Thinkful will teach you SQL. Thinkful will teach you an entry level understanding of statistics. I want to make that very clear, because statistics probably the hardest part. Statistics in Python really duked it out over which is hardest. I would recommend, upon completion of the data analytics program, because I'm going to go and find a statistics class to take. There are a lot of ways to skirt around statistics, but at the end of the day, just you have to know it. It's so frustrating. I like to think that I have a pretty decent knowledge, a pretty basic knowledge of statistics. So I'm going to go and find a statistics class to take and build on that, because it's going to be necessary. When I get into machine learning, I really need to go back and check my dashboard. Python. I love Python. Let's start there. When we got to Python, I was elated. I had been looking forward to Python the entire time. I was so happy to learn Python, and Python made me earn it. The hardest part about learning Python was that initially we just didn't have any context. So you have like a Python 1 section and then you have Python 2 section. So in Python 1, you learn different functions and features of Python, but there's no context to apply it to. There's no answer to why does this matter? Or when am I gonna need this? And then you get to Python 2 and it gives you all of that context, which was really helpful because I was lost in a sea of misunderstanding. So I don't know if I mentioned this already, but I chose the 4-month course. It was 5 days a week from 10 a.m. to 5:30 p.m. Eastern Standard Time. I started my day at 8 o'clock in the morning and I ended my day at 8 o'clock in the evening per Thinkful's recommendation, just to stay on pace with the program. I would definitely advise anyone coming into this program to take it seriously. You have to be willing to put in the time and the effort and the energy into learning these concepts, or you're never going to get it. Thinkful recommends that you commit 50 to 60 hours a week studying. And honestly, I really feel like that range should be more like 60 to 75. Studying on my own, working with my group mates, just really putting in the time to learn the material. You have to be consistent with it because it gets harder. You start out with Excel, which is, oh yay, Excel, it's user friendly until it crashes, but that's a different story. Learning Excel was just nowhere near as hard as learning SQL or learning Python, especially. So definitely, don't get comfortable in how slow paced. I'll go so far as to say that the Excel section of the course was pretty slow paced. It was like an entry level, and then it gets ramped up, and then you start learning Tableau and SQL and statistics, and that's where the real work begins. So my advice to anybody going through the program would be to go ahead and get caught up on Excel. Get acquainted. When you go into the workshops, the instructor will provide clarity, or should be able to provide clarity for whatever it is that you don't understand. Most of the instructors are pretty good about stopping for questions. Emphasis on most. I'm not going to call any names, but I'm just going to say statistics was hard. They do assign you a mentor that you'll meet with them twice a week, and they are there to help you, with whatever you need. They are in the industry, and they have the experience, so they can definitely help you. You have TAs, teachers assistants, that are there to help you in the Think Chat from a certain hour to a certain hour, which is really convenient. People have a lot of resources to get it. And honestly though, I never got help from any of the TAs or any of the Think Chat experts. The most help that I received throughout the course of this program came from my peers. I would definitely advise anyone coming into this program to reach out and connect with your peers, because you don't know what you don't know. So having peers, in going through the same course as I am, to talk to and to bounce ideas off of, or to help explain concepts to me that I may not understand, and vice versa, was really beneficial. Thinkful tries to emulate that, because every week you're assigned to a group of 4 or 5 people. They're supposed to operate like a group of peers that you can lean on, who will help explain concepts that you don't understand. What usually ended up happening was that, just imagine you're on a Zoom call with 4 or 5 other people, and everyone's camera and mic is off, and you're sitting on the couch eating breakfast. That was usually how it went. Or you got that minimized and you're just working on it on your own. There was just very little interaction. If Thinkful ever catches wind of this video, one thing I would recommend is to keep the same groups throughout the course, or at least throughout the sections. So for the Excel section, the group remains the same. For the SQL section, the group, so for every time we change instructors, then we change groups. That's my recommendation if Thinkful hears me. Careers. So Thinkful wants you to get hired. At the end of the day, Thinkful wants you to find a job. So after you graduate from the program, you're assigned with a career specialist who basically works the same way for you that recruiters work for companies. So how recruiters will go out and find candidates to come and work for their amazing companies, your career specialist will go out and find companies and promote you as an amazing candidate. They'll also give you a lot of tools, tricks, tips, and resources to help you find a job. I was worried. I was worried initially, and I'm going to be completely honest about why I was worried. I love my career specialist. She is amazing. She's giving me a lot of tools and tricks and tips that have made my job search just a little bit less depressing. Just make it a little bit better, and just sharing with me things that I don't know, because as I've mentioned several times now, this is all new to me. I've never worked in this industry or on this side of a company. I've never done the corporate side of things. I've always been customer service frontline. I'm customer service friendly. So trying to use that experience and the experience that I gained in Thinkful's program to get a job in this industry, it was concerning. I guess that's what they call imposter syndrome. Just really not believing that I was gonna find a job. I still haven't. I just not believing that I was going to find a job in tech, using the skills that I had learned in Thinkful's program as a Black woman in America without a degree. And that was really how I felt. And she has been reassuring. She's been amazing. She really has. She really, really has. And I haven't found a job yet. I haven't found a job yet, but there are a lot of people out of work right now. So I've got a lot of competition. One thing that I love that Thinkful decided to do is, this is a new initiative that they were launching to help graduates who didn't have as much experience, who had experience like mine. They had a program manager working with graduates from Thinkful's program and helping them to develop projects of their own to add to their portfolio outside of the educational, the capstones that you work on in the Thinkful program. This was designed to help graduates design projects based on data sets that they were actually interested in working on, and just really helping us navigate what we want to do. What does it look like to build a report in Python? I had no idea. I had the skills to run an analysis in Python, easy. But what does a report built in Python look like? I don't know. I knew what an Excel report looked like, but I didn't know what a Python report was supposed to look like. And I didn't know how to navigate telling a story through my Python report. And that program manager was really helpful for me in, getting better about doing that. Out of the blue, the program manager that I was working with took a leave of absence, and Thinkful put the initiative on hold. So I really hope that they get it started up again. Thinkful, if you catch wind. If you catch wind of this video, that's another recommendation. I really loved that initiative, and I think that it would be super beneficial for future graduates coming out of the program, or current graduates who are out of the program, and are struggling to find a job because everyone's telling them, oh, you don't have any experience, and all they have, is a portfolio that looks like every other Thinkful graduate. Just something to think about. So, in a nutshell, that is my experience with Thinkful. I had a lot of highs and a lot of lows, but at the end of the day, I would do it all over again without a second thought. I'm really proud of the skills that I've developed in this program, and I'm excited to see where they take me. And if any of this resonates with you, I definitely advise you to look into it. Thinkful is not the only boot camp out there. Go, check some out. See what works for you. I'm gonna advocate for it. I'm gonna advocate for it. I'm not paid to do this. Thinkful didn't. I promise you, Thinkful did not approach me asking me to do, some YouTube video. Giving them their props, but here I am. I hope you enjoyed.